Hello, hello. Okay, good. It looks like we are live. Hi, guys. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and welcome to a very special live feed. How fun is this? We are going to be doing something that we haven't done for a little while. I know it was wildly popular when we did it a couple years back, and I was just like, oh, we should do that again. And this is really asking you or answering your questions live. So this is an Ask Me Anything. Ask me anything. And what you guys can do is, I know that some of you have submitted some questions in advance, which is great. Thank you guys for being in our community and asking those things. And then with any questions that you have live, just go ahead and pop them in live and I will answer them here because I'm here and you're here. So let's do it. And this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and we are ending eating disorders using nothing but your brain. And I'm just so excited for all the freedom we get to experience. Like, it has been really fun to celebrate this last week. We had a couple of clients that we just we do our client Q&A on Thursdays. And so it was really fun to have a couple of clients just celebrating you graduating this week, just free. Like one of them said, she's like, this is finally the freedom that I've been looking for. And she shared her story about, being hospitalized and going through all of the rigmarole of trying to get free of this. And now she's finally free after working with us for 8 weeks. We have another incredible client where she's like, it's so cool to be able to use the word transformation and to be able to celebrate that this works. And it's just really, really fun to see. So love it. Love seeing the hundreds and hundreds of you who are free from this out in the world, doing great things, being able to do the things that are important to you in life, which is just what you should be able to do with your time and your brain. So let's go ahead and launch in. I will try to get to as many questions as possible today. Just go ahead and pop in. There's a little chat here where you can chat me and just post it as a comment, and I should be able to see it with your questions. And let's go ahead and dive into Ask Me Anything. Okay, so let's look here. All right, so there is a question. All right, great question. And you guys, there are no right or wrong questions. It's all good. All right, so first question is, how do I stop binge eating? That's a great question. This is a good sort of broad, and I love this because this is just getting right down to it. Like, how do I stop binge eating? Okay, so this is why we binge eat. There is a habit of thought. There is a pattern that's like a cascade of thoughts, right? So leading up to any action, any emotion, there is one thought after another, and that turns into, with the more times that it's repeated, it turns into a habit of thought. And that habit of thought gets wired in your brain, like the things that wire together fire together. And so that habit of thought leads to a binge. We believe the thoughts that lead up to it, and so then we do it. And so how you end binge eating is you break the habit of thought. That's it. You back up to really the root of what's happening in that habit of thought. Now, a lot of people will think that their binge eating is associated with other things. And this is why, and I want you guys to be super clear on this. People will think, oh, I'm an emotional eater because when I feel these emotions, then I binge eat. Or people will say, well, it's due to past trauma because when I was traumatized, then I started binge eating. Or people will say it's associated with stress because when I'm stressed, then I binge eat. And correlation isn't causation, right? So people see those things associated together, and then they try to fix all that stuff, right? It's like, okay, well, I've got to delve back and resolve all of my trauma and go to years of therapy. People say okay, well, I've got to have all these coping mechanisms for my emotions, and since I don't have those, then what am I going to do? Or I have to reduce all the stress in my life. And there's a really great, not great, it's not fun, but there is an effective way to prove that that is not the case. Because what people will do is they'll try to fix all this stuff on the outside, right? We've had people come to us that have quit jobs because it was stressing them out, change things about their family because of stress, really make huge changes in life. And what they find is that they reduce their stress and then they're still binge eating. And it seems to be for other reasons. And so what they'll do is they'll start chasing those things. Oh, well, I guess it wasn't the stress because now the stress is gone, but I'm still binge eating. Okay, so what do I do? Well, I'll go ahead and I will, try to have better coping mechanisms, or I'll do this personal development, or, I'll turn into a fitness professional. And it's this constant, you're chasing it, and you're never seeing your problem fixed. We've had people that have gone to 25 years of therapy. like straight, like weekly therapy for 25 years and resolved all of their past stuff and made incredible progress that way, but they're still binge eating because it's this moving target where it's like, let's say whack-a-mole, right? It's like, oh, it's stress, so I have to get rid of stress. I'm still binge eating. Oh no, it must be something else. And so you whack that and it's still binge eating. The thing is that it's connected, let's say with the stress. It might be connected with stress because you see yourself being stressed and then you see yourself binge eating. But what's actually happening is the stress is triggering. I don't even want to use that word because people use that word really incorrectly in this context. Stress brings up a habit of thought that is connected with stress, that you are then in that habit of thought and you believe that and then you binge. But if you broke that habit of thought, you could be just as stressed, but you wouldn't be binging anymore. And think of all the people in the world that are stressed and they're not binging. So the way that you stop binging is you break the habit of thought. And there's nothing as sustainable as doing what you want. So when you don't have a habit of thought that is tricking you into thinking that you do want to binge and this will be the last time and you'll never do this again, and then you do it again, right? When you don't have that habit of thought there, then you're not fighting against it. You're not trying to wake up and win this battle every day. There's just no battle because you're not believing the thoughts that used to lead you to do it. And then eventually you're not having those thoughts because, again, the things that fire together wire together. And so when those things aren't firing and wiring together, then you don't even have that habit of thought anymore. And this is so powerful because our habits of thoughts are why we do and feel everything. And when you know how to break those habits of thought, then it's not just with the binge eating. I mean, we've seen people, have incredible relief from their anxiety and their depression and all sorts of other compulsive things. And we've seen people build their confidence, and we've seen people have new careers, and we've seen people have new relationships or leave relationships that weren't serving them because they're able to make decisions from their selves, like the core of who they are in their lives, and they get to make those decisions based off of what they want and their true selves instead of being a slave to these habits of thought. Now, that is exactly why we do what we do, because you can't see the label of the jar when you're inside the jar, right? So probably about 70% to 80% of the cascade of thoughts that is in that stream of your habit of thought is something where you're not able to see yourself. Your brain does this little game where it sort of hides the pattern from you so you can't change it. And so what we show people how to do is how to see the habit of thought, how to break the habit of thought, and then how to have that be a permanent long-term change. It's just as simple as that. So that's how you end binge eating. And that way, it's true freedom. So you can hear any word, you can be with any person, you can be in any circumstance, you can feel any emotion, you can have any sort of thing change in your life, you can have your health change and your relationships change, and you are free because your outside circumstances are not dictating what you choose internally to do and then what you end up doing with food. And that goes with the bulimia, and that goes with the binge eating, and that goes with the overeating, and yeah, that's how you break. That's how you end binge eating and break that habit of thought. So, ta-da! First question answered. Hi, you guys. For those of you who are just turning in, we are doing a really fun Ask Me Anything. So just go ahead and post your questions here as comments. If you might be seeing this from another page. If you're posting a question and I'm not noting it yet, pop over to the Life of Lydia fan page because I won't be able to see comments in other places. So yeah, if I'm not seeing a new question since the one that I've answered yet. So if you just posted a question, pop over and view it from the fan page, and then I'll be able to see it if you're having any issues there. So yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see what else you guys have submitted. Okay, what if I want to lose weight still, or the desire about losing weight? Okay, let's talk about this. This is great. This is something that is very misunderstood in the path of freedom. Because for any of you guys who have been in this community for a little while, or see that dieting doesn't work from your own experience, or have yo-yo dieted, then you have probably come to see that dieting doesn't work, and that it feels sort of like once you start getting good information, you start seeing how the desire to lose weight actually fights against you, but then you still want to lose weight, and you think that that's important. And so then it just feels like this back and forth. So let's go ahead and clear this up. This is a super, super great question. So if you have the desire to lose weight, you might be at the point where it's like you feel fine about that. Okay, cool. I think that this question is coming from somebody who realizes that that is something that's working against them, and so I'm going to speak to that. Having the desire to lose weight, a lot of times that will turn into the behavior of trying to lose weight, and that will be restriction, or that will be dieting, or that will be, trying to take something out of your life, or manipulating your body, or working out more. And what our priority is to give you guys what works. And I know that there's a very strong message from the $66 billion diet industry that if you just do it right and do their diet, that you'll be able to keep it off and, get it off and keep it off, and that it has a 98% failure rate. So the problem is with this is not the desire to lose weight. If you have a desire to lose weight, okay, cool, that's just a desire. And that desire is valid. But what I'm saying is like that desire is the purely like a feeling, a thing that you want. It's the behavior that comes from that is the problematic thing. Because once you go into dieting and restriction, then it drives up cravings and it makes your eating worse. If not right then it will eventually. That's why people gain their weight back so quickly. And so the desire to lose weight, if that is your outcome, then what you want to do is you want to do what actually works to get you to that outcome. And that's the problem that people run into. So people say, okay, well, what do I do? If I'm not dieting, then what do I do? Because I really need to lose weight. I need to lose weight for my health. I need to lose weight because I, want to feel more comfortable. Like, I totally get all of that. So you want to bust the myth in your own mind that your weight has to do with your worth and that your weight has to do with your health. There are people of all different sizes that are healthy. But let's just say you understand you can be healthy at any size. You just really, really want to lose weight. Okay, here's the opposite way to get there. The thing that will make it worse is to try to diet and restrict. So if you have a desire to lose weight or to have better health, then you want to look at what are the behaviors that got you there to the first place, to a place where you're not happy with your weight. Well, it's likely to be that you dieted your way there. You restricted and then you gained it back plus some, and then you restricted and then you gained it back plus some, and you lost some weight and then you gained your weight back plus some. And over the years, that has been a constant yo-yo dieting that's actually, if you look at it, you might have temporarily lost some weight, but then you're getting bigger all the time. So what you want to do is you want to break the cycle that has gotten you here in the first place. You end the restriction and you end the binge eating, or the overeating, or however it's manifesting. The emotional eating, the food addiction, whatever you want to call it, you end that thing. So when the disordered eating is out of the way, some really cool things happen. Number one is you don't have cravings that you're fighting against, so that makes everything a lot easier. Number two, you're not binge eating, so you're not having all of these like masses of calories that your body isn't able to use, and so it's storing as fat. And then what happens is your body goes to its natural state. So it effortlessly goes to its set point weight. And the way that it does that is that your body starts trusting you again. So it's like, oh, well, if this person's going to like not be in this cycle anymore, then I can trust them, and I can, like, your body gains trust with you. So instead of driving up your hunger signals and turning off your fullness signals, so it's like you can just eat and never get full, all of a sudden you can eat and be full. You can eat and be satisfied. You have a metabolism where you go and you have, ice cream with your kids, and you just burn that as energy, and it has no impact on like, it doesn't make you gain weight. So your body is really, really good at maintaining your set point weight. It's like such an incredible, effortless thing. But the way to get there is you want to get the disordered eating out of the way and the disordered thinking out of the way that has turned into that. And then it's a very natural process. So you don't have to be in charge of it. You don't have to spend your whole life trying to manipulate your body. Like, your body does really well at just being itself and being at your set point weight and maintaining that. And if you eat fewer calories one day, then your body just slows your metabolism a little bit. And if you eat more calories one day, your body just speeds up your metabolism a little bit. And it's really a completely effortless thing. And I know that that's hard to consider because a lot of us have been in this place where, like, we have been in such a full-time job, full mental energy, hours and hours a day of like trying to control and manipulate our bodies. But what happens is that when you're not hurting yourself anymore, and when you get out of the way of what your body has naturally been designed to do since you were born, then eating and maintaining your body and being healthy becomes a very effortless process. And it's really, really awesome. So, all right. Another question answered. Great questions, you guys. Go ahead and just pop in your questions as comments here, and I'll be able to see them, and then I'll be able to answer them here today. So let's go ahead and look at the next question. Okay. There are things that I can't eat because I have like food allergies and food sensitivities. And they're saying that, and I feel deprived because of that. And then, so how do I just eat what I want because I can't eat what I want? Okay, so I think what this question is referring to is this is probably somebody, thank you guys for your thoughtful questions, by the way. This is probably somebody who's seen the masterclass. And one of the elements of the masterclass is to eat what you want. And sometimes people get confused about this of like, but I can't. Either like, I can't eat what I want because then I would just go crazy, or I can't eat what I want because I have, you know, like health conditions or food sensitivities or food allergies or that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and clarify that here and answer this question. So if you have food, let's make a distinction here. There's a difference between I am allergic to food or I have a sensitivity to food, like I eat this food and if I eat this food, I die. That is different than I don't eat this food because I'm worried that it will make me gain weight, or I don't eat this food because I read an article about it and now it's on my I don't eat food list. And I tell people that I don't eat this food, but then I actually in secret binge on this food. So there's a difference there, right? Either way, like that's not something that's going to hold you back from what actually works to fix this, but it's important to distinguish between the foods that like you like, physically like will hurt you and the foods that just you have put on a I don't eat those foods list, right? With like food sensitivities, food allergies, we have coached tons and tons of clients who have had issues like that, like severe health issues, food allergies, like severe food allergies, like anaphylactic shock level stuff. And one thing that has been difficult for them is because they're so restricted, then sometimes they end up binging on the very things that hurt them. Like we've had clients that have actually like put themselves in the hospital because they were out of control binging on the very food that was hurting them. Like that's a really hard place to be in, of course, and I'm so happy they get to be free from that now. But then we have people that they know that, okay, if I eat this thing, then I'm done for. And so they feel so restricted that they start binging on other things, right? It's like, I can't have fast food, and so I'm just gonna like binge on protein bars. So that right there, it's the restriction. And I want you to know that even if you have restrictions, like there are things you can't eat, that remember, we're ending the binge eating, we're getting rid of that feeling of restriction by ending the habit of thought. And so what we show our clients how to do is end the habit of thought that has led to the same behavior over and over. And it's on a thought level, right? So it's not about you have to eat a certain way, or you have to include certain foods, or you have to exclude certain foods. It's your relationship and how you feel about those foods and your patterns of thought around it. So you end it at its root. So I just want you to know, like the person who submitted this question, I want you to understand that that will not hold you back from your freedom. That no matter what sorts of like physical limitations you may have on the foods that you can eat, like I can understand why that's inconvenient and that's no fun, but I also want you to know that that will not hold you back from gaining your freedom, because we're talking about this on a thought level. So whether it's manifesting, and I'm not sure exactly how it's manifesting for you, it might just be a feeling of restriction and obsessing about food all day because of that feeling of restriction that's interrupting your life. It may be that you are binging on foods because of that. Either way, once you break the habit of thought in that cycle, then the behaviors that you're not wanting to do, like binging or obsessing about food all day, just go away. So super, super awesome. All right. So here's somebody who they're saying, I have tried to stop dieting, but I keep gaining weight. So what do I do? So again, this sounds like it's somebody who's been in our community for a little while that sees that dieting isn't working. And so huge congratulations on taking steps toward like not dieting. That will that will benefit you if it's done in a way that actually gets you free. And I can understand why it's frustrating to feel like you're between a rock and a hard place, because it's like, well, dieting doesn't work. And I keep on gaining weight because of the yo-yo dieting, and I keep on losing it and then gaining back more. And I'm just, getting really frustrated with this, and it's not working. So dieting isn't working because it's ending up in me gaining weight. And then not dieting isn't working because I end up gaining weight, because now I don't have any sort of restriction or parameters, and now I'm just eating crazy. So I can understand how frustrating that is. And the great news is with the path of freedom, that you can not diet and you're not having to choose between your health and your freedom. You can have both. You can have your health and your freedom. So I'll give you an example. We had a woman come to us who, just a really phenomenal woman, who knew that diets didn't work. She was like active in the body acceptance movement. Like, she intellectually knew that that stuff wasn't good for her. And so what she thought that she needed to do was just not diet. And if she wasn't dieting, then she was just eating whatever. And she just felt really out of control because she wasn't dieting. And so she would, binge on sweets. Like, cupcakes were like her thing, right? It's just like, this would be something where it would just be like, okay, one and then just one more. It was a lot of different things, but like there were just certain foods that just seemed really difficult because they were the things she restricted when she was dieting. And so they seemed like especially like had this charge, and she had an urge toward it when she wasn't dieting, but she was just committed to not dieting. Now, the issue is that she, in a very short amount of time, had gained about 50 pounds and was now pre-diabetic. And so she was at this place where she didn't want to go back to dieting because she knew that was damaging, but she saw that what was happening was really damaging. So what is happening here is that you're 50% of the way there, but you're not 100% of the way there, right? You've stopped dieting, which is great. Like physically, you're not doing the damage of dieting, but you're mentally still in a place where you're restricting and you're eating out of reaction, right? So you haven't ended the habit of thought that's led you to the binging, because you need to give up the things that don't work and you need to do the things that do work, right? So here's what it would be like to have a full freedom. You're ending the dieting and you're ending the mentality, their habits of thought around dieting. And then you are ending the binging and you're ending the habits of thought and the mentality around binging. And what happens is that there's this beautiful neutral place. One of our clients described it as the middle way. Like, oh man, I just have to tell you this. Like, we have so many amazing clients, but we have this client who just illustrated this in such an amazing way. She's like, I have full freedom after over 30 years of struggling with food and it being like the thing that was ruining my life. She's like, I have full freedom. She had been working with us for probably about 6-8 weeks at that time. So she had gained her full freedom after 30 years. Yes, that on its own is just so awesome. But then she's like, what I'm realizing about freedom is that it's not in these extremes. Freedom is not an extreme, like I'm all about my diet and I've lost this weight and I have all this self-control and there are all these things that I don't eat and I'm just like manic diet mode. It's not that end. And then it's not like, all right, well, who cares? And I'm just going to eat whatever I want. And, I'm binging and I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to binge. Like this sort of pendulum swing back and forth. She's like, freedom is not either one of those ends. It's not, I don't care, so I'm just going to eat whatever. And it's not, I super, super, super care, so I'm not going to eat all this stuff, right? It's this middle way of like, you're not on those extremes. That food is a non-issue. You don't think about it. You don't worry about it. You don't obsess about it. You're not trying to manipulate your body, and you're in your best health than ever. We actually had a client celebrating just earlier today. She's like, I am eating what I want and I'm not worrying about it and I'm healthier than I've ever been. She's like, she's like, all my rings are getting loose. So she's like, this has never happened before. So it's the effortless side effect of your freedom. So this is what full freedom would look like. You have the habits of thought with both extremes gone, right? So you are not compelled to restrict and you're not compelled to binge. And then your body gets to do that amazing magic stuff that is not even that magic. It's just totally natural of now you have a metabolism. Now you know what you want. That's a really fun thing we get to celebrate with our clients, is that they know what they want. going from a place where like I have no idea how to eat, I have no idea what to do, I have no clue like like what I can and can't eat, like just all of this confusion and this drama around food in their minds and otherwise. They go from that place to actually knowing what they want and having a preference. So you guys might have seen Kara's freedom story, and I just love this. She's like, oh, I used to binge on cake, and I don't like cake. I found that out, right? It's like we have another client earlier today. She was like, I used to just eat all of this yellow mustard because it didn't have any calories, and it was okay on every diet. And she's like, I hate yellow mustard. Like, you know what you like, and you know what you don't like. And then you get to eat the stuff that you like, and you don't have to eat the stuff that you don't like. And you get to have this incredible metabolism that can handle whatever you're eating, and you can eat something and feel full and lose interest in food because you are full and satisfied, and you can not think about food, and you can forget about food, and you can not know what is in your fridge, and you can not know what is in your pantry. And you can be surprised when your when your hunger signals are like, hey, you're hungry. You can go and you can like open up your fridge and you can decide on something to eat right there and like start using mental energy at that point instead of like for hours and hours before and watching the clock. So that is what that full freedom is about. It's really about being in like that place where it's a non-issue. It's not, here's the extreme of your binging and life is so hard, and then here's the extreme of everything that you're doing every single day to not binge. It's that you don't need either. Yes, you need to have the right tools to like have the transformation and not have disordered eating anymore. But then you just get to live life. You just get to move forward and have a life, and it's great. So anyway, celebrating with you guys. Okay, any other questions? If so, now is the time. I'm not seeing any other questions pop up right now. So write a comment with your question if you want me to answer it today. And if not, then it will not get answered. But now would be the time to do that. And just really excited for you guys. This is a fun little series that we're starting. We'll do some more Ask Me Anythings, and I love that you guys get to ask your real questions, and it's super fun to interact this way. So go ahead and pop in your questions, and if you want freedom, like if you want to be able to have food be a non-issue and be a normal eater, then the best resource at this juncture is you want to start with our free masterclass, the 5 elements to end binge eating. You can go to lifewithlydia.com and you can get that free masterclass. That'll be a great foundation. And then this is about you, like that's the information of like what you need to know, the principles you need to be familiar with to get you off to a good start there. But then this is about you, right? So after that, you can book a free breakthrough session. You can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. Again, that's lifewithlydia.com/apply. And you can book a free breakthrough session where we are going to walk you through for you getting the foundation of freedom. So you're super clear on next steps of how to solve this. And again, this is Lydia, the Lifestyle Coach, signing off. Bye, guys.